Okay, so as you probably guessed from the title, this is going to be a review of Final Destination 5. And before I begin, there might be some of you wondering when the next Let's Play is going to come. Basically, that's going to be Dead Island, and that is released on the 9th of September, I believe. At least here in the UK is. I know that America gets it a few days earlier, but I will be able to start recording the Dead Island Let's Play on the 9th of September. So that's when I'll be doing the Let's Play. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to be uploading this review up, and I would like to start doing some movie reviews as well. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll just open up another channel, to keep them separate from the game stuff. I haven't really decided on that yet. Maybe I will. I don't know. I guess it depends what you guys say, because this is called the Unaddicted Gamer after all. So I guess it makes sense for there to only be game footage. But on the other side, one video, every now and again wouldn't really. I don't think one video every now and again wouldn't really matter. I don't think, but I don't know. Maybe it does. But anyway, on with the review. So I saw this a few days ago. I've been wanting to see it for a while actually, but I couldn't find anyone to go and see it with me. None of my friends wanted to go. I asked my brother, he didn't want to go. So I was stuck with someone else. Yeah, I was stuck with someone else. I'm not going to say who, but I was stuck with someone else. Anyway, so about the film. I liked the first film, the first Final Destination, It's it was new, different, original, blah blah blah. The second one was more of the same. I don't know, I still like the second one, I guess. I guess it was okay. Even though it was pretty much the same film, it was okay. The third and fourth one is just, by the third one, I was pretty much tired of this idea. That the films, I pretty much got tired of this, the plot of the films, because every single film is pretty much the same. So for the third and fourth one, I just didn't like them. The fourth one, I really hate the fourth one. So for the fifth one, I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting it to be the same as the other films, and the thing is, even though I was expecting it to be the same as the other films, and I was expecting it to be a bad movie, I kind of wanted to like it, to be honest. I'm not quite sure why. Did I like it? I was expecting it to be one of those so bad it's good kind of things. But no, it wasn't. It was pretty much the same film. Well, I expected that, but it was it wasn't it's so bad it's good thing. Creepshow 3. That film is it's really bad, but you love watching it because it's so entertaining at the same time. The thing is with this movie, well, it just wasn't that. Personally, I just found it to be, just not that good. See, where do I begin? For those of you who haven't seen the movie, every single Final Destination film opens up like this. Basically, is an accident, a disaster happens, whether it's a plane, a plane blowing up. Well, in the first one there was a plane blowing up. On the second one there was a car pile up. For the third one, a roller coaster crashed. Well, it went wrong. And the fourth one, there was a pile up at a NASCAR racing event or something. Can't quite remember what it was, but it was a NASCAR racing event or something. Anyway, so for the fifth one is a suspension bridge collapsing. And so basically what happens, the bridge collapses, kills a bunch of people, and it turns out what the bridge collapsing was just a premonition, a vision, which the main character has. So he wakes up from it. Then he convinces a bunch of people, his friends and his co-workers. He convinces them to get off the bus and off the bridge. So he saves them, and then the bridge collapses straight after as expected. And basically the plot of the movie is that the characters that survived are killed off one by one by death. By getting off the bridge, they basically cheated death. So now death is going to kill them off one by one in the same order. that they would have died if had they stayed on the bridge. So if you're not familiar with the idea, that's basically it. So basically the whole movie is just the surviving characters getting killed off in freak accidents. So basically the only source of entertainment from these the movies is just seeing the creative ways that like they kill people. The first one, like, it wasn't just about that because it was something new. Like it was something new. We never seen this before. It was, so it was more of a mystery to us, the audience, as well as the characters. So not only did we get like the characters dying in creative ways, which is, always entertaining. Aside from that, we, there's also the mystery element of it, which, of course, is also entertaining, trying to work out what's going to happen. But for the second movie, like, we know how death works, we know how it operates, we know, like, we know the plot of the movie already, so we're like one step ahead of the characters already. So like half the movie is the characters figuring out that death is coming back after them. So that, there's like half the movie is just wasted. Like, that's the same for every single film, except for the first one, because we didn't know what was going to happen. But like, so up to the fifth one, you're just sitting there as the characters are getting killed off. You're just like waiting for the main character to work out that they're all going to die now. And so like, the character only learns this like halfway through the movie, so it's, it is pretty tedious just sitting there waiting for the characters to work out, because like, obviously it's not going to, the mystery element is only going to work the first time because, well, we didn't know what was going to happen the first time. So it's just really tedious and boring to sit through just waiting for the characters to work this out. And yeah, it's like the film as a whole, I kind of found it pretty boring, to be honest. Like, even I did see this in 3D, by the way. And for those of you like looking for the gimmicky 3D where like stuff always like shoots out at the screen, like My Bloody Valentine kind of 3D, this isn't that sort of 3D. It's more of an like Avatar 3D, like immersive 3D as they call it. So if you like that kind of 3D, you should enjoy this film. But don't get me wrong, sometimes like on one or two bits they have like poles or poles and pins and stuff like sticking out of the camera. They do stuff like that every now and again, but for the most part it's more of an immersive 3D, which personally I do not prefer. I saw Avatar, as much as I hated Avatar, I watched it twice in the cinema, once in 3D, once in 2D. It's a long story why I watched it twice even though I hated it, but when I watched the 3D version, it's not as if I felt any more immersed into the film than I did when I watched the 2D version, because at the end of the day it's still just a 2D image, like it's not actually coming out of the screen, obviously. So personally, like, 3D does not make a film more immersive for me. Like, I do prefer the gimmicky 3D though, because it's more fun, but it's more fun to have stuff like flying out the camera at you. So no, this film didn't really have much of that, which is a shame, I guess. I mean, I guess the fourth one was kind of immersive as well. Oh well. Anyway, so back to the 3D aside, the 3D wasn't really worth watching. It wasn't really worth watching in 3D. The one thing I will say about the 3D aspect was the opening credits. That was like the biggest like 3D part of the film. Like for the opening credits, where they had produced by, like directed by, etc, etc, they just have like glass panes getting smashed by objects. So then they're like glass kind of like shoots towards the screen. I don't know, I guess 3D effects were okay with that. Yes, I did get the references to the deaths as well. Like they have stuff like ladders and nails, like and a tire at one point, like flying like through the glass. Obviously a reference to the other deaths in the series. And one thing I thought about the opening credits, they went on for way too long. Seriously, they lasted for like 3 minutes or something. Like they were way too long, like a lot longer than they should have been. Like the 3D effects weren't worth just sitting through like 3 minutes of credits. I think they took it a bit too far with that. So the acting was pretty bad. Not that I really cared, to be honest. I mean, I like all the Saw films. Acting does not bring down a movie to me. It will not make or break a movie for me. Bad acting, like good acting is fun to watch. Like Jack Nicholson, he's always fun to watch. Like, he's a good actor. Like, good acting is good acting, but it's not gonna, a bad acting is not gonna bring down a film for me. But yeah, the acting was bad, so, you know, if bad acting affects a film for you, then there you go, this film has bad acting, so take that for what you want to. So, about the deaths, I mean, that's probably the main selling point of the movie, the deaths. Personally, I think they got really lazy with the deaths in this one. Like, the fourth one probably has the worst deaths in the series. Like, the deaths in the fourth one were awful. This one, I would say they're better than the fourth one, but that's not saying much. They were still pretty bad. I mean, for the most part, they're just bland and boring and like really uncreative. I'm gonna spoil one death here. It's not really much. Like, they do show it in the trailer, so you know, you shouldn't really matter if I spoil this death for you. Anyway, if you don't want this one little death spoiled for you, just leave now. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it now. So there's like a wrench next to, it's like, it takes place in a factory, and there's like a wrench next to like this spinning piece of machinery. I'm not quite sure what the machinery is called. I think it's like a spinning belt or something, but the wrench like just touches the spinning belt ever so slightly, and it gets like propelled across the room, and then it gets launched into this guy's skull, and then, well, that's it, that's the death, that's how he dies. And it's just like that, that's all it is a wrench getting fired into someone's skull. Pretty boring, well, in my opinion, it's a bit bland, like a bit uncreative, I guess. I mean, if you break it down, it's pretty much the same death, the rock through the eye death from the fourth film. In the fourth film, for those of you who haven't seen it, this guy, he has like a lawnmower, and then he runs over like a rock. So the lawnmower sucks up the rock, and then it like propels the rock through this woman's head, well, through her eye to be exact, but there you go. So then, well, the fifth one is like, so a rock gets propelled by a lawnmower and launched into someone's head. In this film, a wrench gets propelled by a spinning belt and hits a man in the head. They're pretty much the same deaths, I guess. I mean, it just wasn't really interesting enough for me to like really care. Well, all of the deaths pretty much weren't that interesting enough for me to care. And another thing about that, if the only source of entertainment in your movie is going to be the way people die, one, the deaths better be really awesome, like they better be really creative, and secondly, the special effects better be awesome. I mean, part of the fun is how they die, and then the other part is like, well, seeing them die, and it's kind of like, you know, you want good special effects for this sort of thing, like good special effects, like you want to, you know, it just makes it a lot more satisfying. I mean, you could have a really awesome way for someone to die, but if the special effects suck, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's like that psychological thing in it, so where it's like what you don't see is scarier, but for a film like Final Destination, whatever, that what you don't see is scarier does not apply. Like for a film like Final Destination, you need to see the way people die, and that's true, you do see them die in this film, but the thing is, the special effects, like, they really should focus on the special effects for these films, and the gore effects at least weren't good. The thing is with 3D as well, I've noticed, is like, it makes bad special effects harder to notice. Like, it's just harder I find it harder to notice bad special effects if I'm watching a film in 3D. So it's like, in this film, because I watched it in 3D, like I said before, the special effects in this film, they looked bad in 3D. So I can't even begin to imagine how bad they must look in 2D. I mean, if they're that bad in 3D, like, you know, they've got to be pretty damn bad in 2D as well. Because like I said, the 3D kind of hides a little bit, it kind of dampens how bad the special effects actually are. So the special effects, so like I said, if your film is going to be focused on the way people die, then you better have some good special effects to back it up, you know, to satisfy the audience's bloodlust, I guess, you know. So for this film, special effects weren't too good, so that's a bad thing about it. So the deaths weren't really satisfying. They weren't that creative anyway, like I said before, so it's not as if they could really be saved anyway. like even with good special, I mean the wrench death, the special effects in that was okay, I guess. It was okay. So, but the thing is, the death itself was like pretty uninteresting and boring, to be honest. So it's not as if like good special effects could save the deaths, even, you know, because they were pretty uncreative anyway. Like another death, this is shown in the trailer as well. This is like one of the like most marketed like scenes of the film. It's the it's the eye surgery scene where the woman gets like eye laser surgery or whatever you want to call it, well, on her eye. That's shown in all the trailers, so that's like no spoiler there. So that death, that was the death I was like expecting the most out of. Like I saw the trailer, and I've heard a lot of people talking about that scene, so I was, you know, maybe I just hyped myself up too much for that scene, but it was so disappointing. I mean, she's just there while it cuts into her eye for like 20 seconds, and then she manages to get free, and then like she slips and falls out of a window. So I was just expecting so much more than that, because like all it does, the laser just like cuts into her eye just for like, well, not long, and it doesn't even cut into her eye that much either. Like it's like it does like a little squiggle in her eye with some CGI effects which were mediocre. The special effect, like it wasn't that bad, and like it wasn't noticeable at all, but it wasn't great either. But that death was really disappointing because it just cuts into her eye just a tiny bit, like it just does a tiny squiggle. So I was really disappointed by that death. Like I was expecting for the laser to like completely cut off like half of her face or something. So I was really disappointed with that. And she also puts her hand up like to try and stop the laser. Then it like cuts into her hand just a tiny bit. So that death was like, I found that really disappointing. So like if you know, you're hyping yourself up for that scene, really just prepare for not much. That scene was really disappointing. It did have potential, like eye surgery, you know, well, eye surgery, that's what you gotta say. That has potential to be a pretty cool death, but personally it just didn't. I just think they could have done a lot more with that scene, but it was done, it felt so rushed in my opinion, and I was expecting so much more out of it, but it just turned out to be just pretty boring. I was really disappointed by that scene. And the way she falls out the window is kind of weird as well. It's like she's facing away from the window. She's like, you know, so behind her is the window, so, and then say the window's behind me and she's facing down there. So she's looking, you know, well, at the wall, not at the window. And then she takes a step back, I think, if I remember right, and she like steps onto a teddy as well. I think it was a teddy. So she steps on like to a teddy bear, like a stuffed animal, and then like she just takes one step back, and when she slips on it, she kind of like does a 180. She spins around to face the window and then falls out of it. I just didn't buy the way she fell out the window. I think they could have set that up a lot better. Maybe if she slipped and fell backwards, back first through the window, it would have been more believable. But like she's facing that way, she takes one step back, slips, and then like she turns around to face the window, then falls forward. I just think maybe it's the actress's fault, or maybe they just could have edited that a lot better. I just didn't think that was too believable, the way she fell through the window. I know I'm bitching about the deaths and like how uncreative they are, but there were two deaths I actually liked. There were two deaths which I thought were actually pretty cool. I'm not going to spoil this one, but it's the gymnastics death. It's no spoiler that someone dies in that scene. It's pretty obvious someone's going to die in that scene. I mean, you know, it's not much of a spoiler. I'm not going to say how she dies, but I thought that was pretty cool, and even the special effects in that scene were pretty good as well. I did like them. Yeah, they were pretty good, the effects in that scene. And I'll leave that till later actually. And the other death I liked, this happens in like the first 5 minutes, so you know, this isn't much of a spoiler either, but it's doing the premonition at the start. It's like, you know, when the bridge is collapsing. So this guy, his name is, Dennis is the character's name. He's like hanging onto the bridge, like he gets knocked over a little bit, and then he's like hanging onto the bridge and he's about to fall off. So he's trying to climb back up. Then there's like this truck And like it's like this truck filled with like hot tar. It was like hot. It was tar or something. But it was like, or maybe oil. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was tar. Anyway, like so, like the lid comes off, or like a hole gets punctured into it, or something like that. So like all of the like hot tar just like spills out and well just covers Dennis. So like it just burns his skin off. Like again, that is not as bad as it may sound. Like it covers him, then it just like burns his skin off, and then he drops down and falls through it into the water. That might sound pretty gruesome, but it actually isn't. But even though it wasn't that gruesome, I still liked it. Like the tar covers him, so he's pretty much covered in tar, so you don't really see it burning his skin off or anything. Like there's a few like dry patches on him where you can see like black and like skin. But yeah, that was an okay death. That was one of two deaths. So it was the gymnastic death, and well the hot tar death. They were the only two deaths in the film I liked. The rest were really like boring, pretty much. Like, I mean, it's a Final Destination film, so you expect some really creative deaths. Like they start getting lazy with the deaths, like since the third film anyway. So, well, actually, the third film had a few good deaths, but for the most part, they started getting lazy at that point, I would say. But yeah, the deaths, they weren't that interesting. And like this film has, this film has like a lot of like logic problems, let's call them. I mean, there's like I'm pretty sure if you fell off that bridge and hit the water, you would die. Like as soon as you hit the water, because like several of I think there's one or two, but a few of the characters which fall off the bridge, when they fall off the bridge and like they hit the water, but they're like clearly still alive. Like there's this one girl falls off the bridge, she lands in the water, and then she's like still alive and like floating a little bit. She's like trying to keep afloat. Then like a car falls down and drops on her head. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that would like kill you if you fell off the bridge and landed on the floor like that. So it, like there's a few logic problems like that, and I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that the lasers used for eye surgeries, I'm pretty sure like they're not even strong enough to cut through skin. So I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. I think I read that the lasers are actually cold for starters. So and there's no way in hell they could possibly cut through humans through you. Like even if it malfunctioned, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere, even if it malfunctioned, there's no possible way a laser could cut through you like that. Well, at least a laser used in eye surgeries. And also your head's not clamped down in place anyway, so whatever, I guess. But it's just like this film, well, I guess you could say suspension of disbelief, like. But this film has a bunch of logic problems like that. Like even the first four films weren't that stupid. See what else is there? Oh yeah, and in the death scenes they always try to trick you into thinking this is how someone's gonna die. Like they have tons and tons of red herrings. They do in pretty much every film they do. They do this. Like like in the third film, the nail gun death. The girl slips onto the nail gun and it shoots a bunch of nails through her face. There's like the camera does like a close up of all these wooden stakes like on top of this shelf. So obviously the gag is that the wooden stakes are gonna like drop off the shelf and like hit the character in the head and impale them. Like the thing is with these films, whenever we focus on an object like that, it's like that's not how the character's gonna die, because in every single death scene in the whole entire series, they've done a close-up of like a deadly object, like a knife, which is about to like fall off a shelf or something. Or in this case, in one scene, there's like they do a close-up of the ceiling fan, and like they're trying to play off because like all the screws around the ceiling fan are loose, and they're like trying to play off that the fan is going to drop down onto the character's head. Like they always do stuff like that, red herrings, to try and trick you into thinking that's how someone's going to die. And obviously they always try to take you by surprise. And so like while they're distracting you with like like a puddle which is being electrified, so it's like while they're trying to distract you with this, trying to convince you this is how the character's going to die, they've been going about something else secretly, or something else just happens at the last second, and that's how the character dies instead. So it's like they always try to take you off guard by surprise like that. Like they always have these red herrings to try and trick you into thinking this is how someone's gonna die, and then like all of a sudden they like kill the character off some other way. Like they always try to do that to try and trick you, but it never ever works, because in every single like death scene in every film, whenever they do a close up of a knot, it's like you can do a checklist. So it's like you get a checklist. It's like okay, that knife's not gonna kill him. You know, so it's like they do a close up of the ceiling fan. Okay, the ceiling fan's not gonna kill him. A close up of a I don't know, a close up of a knife that's about to fall off a shelf. Okay, that's not gonna kill him. Close up of an oven, it looks like it might explode. Okay, that's not going to kill him. It's just like whatever they do a close up of, you know that's not going to kill him. So whenever they try to trick you, it never ever works, because you know they're just going to try and take you by surprise by something else, and it just never works. Like one death in this film, I'm not going to spoil it, but the fire. You know, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. The fire. Fire is used as a red herring in one scene. Like, not for 1 second did I think that was going to be the way the character died. It was just like, I could so see where they were going with that scene. Like, it's always the subtle things. They try to do like subtle like shots of the real like deadly object, the real danger. They always try to do like subtle like shots of like the wrench. Like when they place the wrench, like you could tell, because it's not as if they focused on it. Like with the loose ceiling fan for one of the red herrings, they do a close up of it and they linger on it for so long. So as the character is doing whatever they want, you know, whatever they're doing, they keep doing a close up of the ceiling fan. They keep going back and forth, and they're trying so hard to make you think that that's going to fall onto the character's head. But throughout the whole entire scene, you just know that's not how the character's going to die. You know they're just trying to trick you into thinking that. So like, I just found that really annoying whenever they did that. Like, it's just like, you're not fooling anyone into thinking that, or at least not me. I'm pretty sure there's tons of people who didn't get fooled by that. It's just, I find that really annoying. It's just really predictable. See, if they did one death where they kept doing that, they kept like focusing on this object which is about to kill the victim, and then all of a sudden they actually kill the victim that way, I would be so shocked by that. But they've never ever done that. And I doubt they ever will, because they always think they're successful in taking you by surprise. So it never works. And when I say by surprise, I'm talking like, you know, the bus death in the first film. That took me by surprise, yes. I'm not talking about that sort of stuff. Like, because it's not as if they focused on any other objects in that scene which could kill the character anyway. Like, it seemed like a normal scene, and then she just got hit by a bus. So that death was like, you know, they always have those one or two deaths in every film, which, you know, just try to take you by surprise, in the sense that they don't try to trick you into thinking something else is going to kill them anyway. That sort of thing works for the most part, you know. But I'm talking about the scenes where they try and trick you into thinking, you know, this is how the character is going to die, and then at the last second they actually kill the character in you know, some other way. It's just really obvious that they're going to do that. So I don't even know why they even bother anymore. Like, they're not really building much. They're not building up any suspense at all when they're doing that. I just find that really annoying. And, you know, with the major set pieces, like in this one, it was the laser eye surgery. I guess the major set piece in the third one would be the tanning beds where the two girls burned to death. In the first one, it was that guy got strangled. He got like the clothesline wrapped around his neck. With that sort of stuff, the major set pieces, like the money shots, the big marketed scenes, like that sort of stuff, you know, they don't do any red herrings. That is how the character dies. So there's no suspense in them in those scenes either, because yeah, the character's going to die that way, and we know. And like, you can tell if it's going to be a red herring or not, because, well, you know, it's like a big thing, you know, like a tanning, like those tanning beds, it's a big thing. Like, you could tell that's how they're going to die, and it's not a red herring, because that was the only thing they were focusing on anyway. And it's the same for this one with the eye surgery scene, what they show in the trailer anyway, so it's kind of ruined anyway. Okay, what else? What else is there? Oh yeah, I know I'm saying I'm bad mouthing the special effects a lot here, but the bridge scene was very well done. I'll give the film that. The bridge scene, I was really shocked by the special effects there. Like, Final Destination 1 and 2, the accidents, the disasters at the start of the films, the special effects in them were pretty awesome. I think they did a damn good job in those, especially the pile-up from the second film. That was really good. The roller coaster was pretty bad in the third one. The special effects in the roller coaster sequence in the third film, they were pretty awful, if you ask me. The fourth one, that was some of the worst special effects I've seen in my life. Like, wow, they were bad. That was like some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. The fifth one though, I was really shocked by the suspension bridge deaths. So I'm kind of wondering, like, they managed to pull off the suspension bridge like scene awesome. Like that was actually an awesome scene. I'll give it that. I mean, for the most part, well, the special effects of the bridge collapsing itself, like the bridge itself collapsing, was good. That was good special effects. Oh, maybe this is just because I was watching it in 3D. Because like I said before, the 3D kind of hides how bad the special effects are. So the bridge collapsing, maybe it'll look really bad in 2D, but personally, when I watched it in 3D, I think the bridge collapsing looked pretty awesome. I'll give it that. Having said that, the gore effects were awful in the bridge scene. Like, not really a spoiler, it happens in the first 5 minutes. This girl in the premonition, she falls off and gets impaled on a boat. It's like there's like a flag on the boat or something, and she gets like impaled on it. The special effects were awful. Like, gore wise, the special effects are really bad. Except for the hot tar one, that was pretty good. Like, this guy gets impaled, this other guy gets split in half. They were just really awful special effects. So like I said, gore wise, they do awful. Like a really bad job. But the bridge itself collapsing was actually really good. I'll give them that. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so how about Tony Todd? So, you know, Tony Todd, for those of you who haven't seen the films, he appears in the first two. I think his voice was used in the third one. I think I've read that somewhere. Not too sure. He didn't appear in the fourth one at all, I know that. But in the first two films, he's like the coroner, for those of you who haven't seen it. Like, he's just used as a plot device to explain to the characters the situation. Actually, yeah, so like it's like all the fans, like, so they announced Tony Todd was coming back for the fifth one. So I saw all the fans like on the message boards and stuff. They were getting really excited over this, that Tony Todd was like returning. He was in the first two films, and he's a good actor, yeah, you know, yeah, he's a good actor, but obviously, you know, the best actor in this film, definitely, because everyone was pretty bad. But I don't see why everyone gets so excited over him being in the film. He doesn't do anything for the whole entire film. Like I said, in every single film he has the same role. He just explains to the characters that death is after them and it's going to kill them one by one. So, you know, it's like, so he's going to be in the fifth one. So what? Who cares? Like, he just did the exact same thing he does with the other films. He appears in like 3 scenes, and in some scenes he only appears for literally 10 seconds, and he has like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. So he really just has no impact on the film whatsoever, aside from explaining to the characters that they're gonna die. So it's like, I just didn't see what the big deal about him returning was. He doesn't do anything aside from explain, to the characters that they're gonna die, which he does in every single film. So it's like, what's the big deal? He's just doing the same thing he always does. And back to the thing about like all the films being the same. It's like, yeah, it is the same film. You're paying to see the same film for the 5th time. It's like every single film, like disaster. You know, the main character saves a bunch of people. Some mundane stuff happens with the characters. One character, 1 or 2 characters die. They get killed by death. They die in these freak accidents. Okay? Then the main character, he's like the only person who... And sometimes it's the main character's love interest. They always pair up. In every single film, the main character and their love interest team up. So it's like... It's the exact same film, like just different names for the characters. So after the disaster, 1 or 2 people die in freak accidents. The main character is the only person and the main character's love interest those two are the only people who notice that something's wrong. And then like one or two, so they like go to Tony Todd or whatever, or find out for themselves that death is hunting them down one by one. So then like the rest of the movie is just them going to the other characters and just saying to them, trying to convince them that death is after them. And while they're trying to convince them, that character gets killed. So it's like two people die in freak accidents. The main character figures out death's plan, which we figured out 5 movies ago. So I don't understand why they always keep this a secret from the main character. They should tell the main character this in the first place, because it's just boring for us as the audience to sit there waiting for the character to figure this out, because we already know this. So it's like, what's the point? So I don't understand why it takes so long for the main character to figure this out, because we know as an audience, we figured this out 5 movies ago. So why do we have to watch these characters figure this out 4 times in a row? And why does it take them so long as well? So after they figure this out, they try to convince like 1 or 2, 3 characters this, and while they're trying to convince the characters, they get killed before they can convince them, It's just your typical standard stuff. Okay, so about the kill or be killed angle, so this film, it tries to do something different. I'll give it that. I'll give it credit for that. Well done, you tried to do something different. So in this film, it's the killed or be killed aspect. So it's like, the rule is, if you're being hunted by death, which these characters obviously are, if you kill someone, any person, you get their remaining lifespan. So, so like, say you killed a baby, you would get like, however long that baby was going to live for. That's how many years you get added onto your life. So that is a good idea. And it's nice they try to change it up. So that's a good idea, and I was looking forward to that, because they clearly show that off in the trailer. The thing is, this does not come into play in the movie much. There's only 2 instances where they use this in the whole entire movie. 2. And the characters only learn this at like halfway, no, I'd say between halfway and 3/4 through the movie is when the characters figure this out. Tony Todd tells them. So it's like, and even then, after they've been told about this only comes into play twice in the movie. So it's like, they really don't change much. Like, if you're going to change the movie, make sure you use it for a large portion of the movie, because like half the movie's just them trying to figure out what the hell's going on and why everyone's dying. So then once Tony Todd has explained that, he explains you can kill someone to get their remaining lifespan. So it's just like, even then they don't do anything, well they do, but not much with that. So it's still the same film. It's still the same film. It's the same like set pieces. It's the same like plot points. The exact same plot points. There's no difference between the films. Like, they never ever change up. This kill or killed thing, the kill or be killed thing, could have been interesting, but they didn't use it to its full potential. And another thing that I think they should explore in the series, I know a lot of people are saying this as well, is like, why do these characters get these premonitions? It's never explained why they get these premonitions. And we're 5 movies into the series now, so it's like, why don't you, why haven't they explained this now? Like, it's not as if they got to, but they should, It's like, it gives them something to discuss as well. It's something for us as the audience to learn something new about death, So it's like, at least there's something for us, the audience, to learn. So at least we're learning something new about death's design. So it's like, there's always like, the characters are always getting hints which help them try to survive. So it's like, is there like an opposing force to death which is trying to save these characters? I just wish like they explored like that other side, like the premonitions and everything. Like, don't get me wrong, that would not save the movie. If they explored this, it would be a good thing, and I would like, at least they've explained this, and hopefully if pulled off right, it would be interesting to listen to. Like, I would still like bitch about the movie and complain, even if they did do that. But at least it's something to go off of, And like, some of you might be saying, oh, okay, so you'll still bitch about the movie, So it's like, well, they need to introduce a new angle for starters as well, obviously. Because like, just explaining like this other opposing force isn't going to be enough to make the film different. That's just a bit of like information. It's not really like an added bonus. It's not as if that's going to change the movie up. Because the thing is, this series, it should not be a series. It should not have been more than one film. Because clearly they're just rehashing the same film over and over again. Exact same plot points. They don't even try to make them different. It's just really, really like I can't believe they made 5 films out of this series. Like, at least with the second film, it kind of tied into the first film a little bit, because all of the characters from the second film were somehow involved with the characters from the first film. Like, I'm not going to explain now, but you know, it was just like a 2-minute scene, 2-minute dialogue scene. It was a half-assed attempt to tie her into the first film, but it was okay. At least it was something, and it certainly doesn't save the film. But I still found the second one kind of entertaining, because at least the concept hadn't worn itself out by now. But the third movie, they started getting really uncreative with the deaths and the special effects, I might add. And you know, so by the third movie, I just didn't care anymore. It just got tedious. Like, for the next Final Destination movie, which no doubt that they'll probably make, have the characters figure out Death's design extremely early on in the movie, and like just try and introduce a new angle. Like, this kill or be killed thing was wasted. It had so much potential, but they did not use it at all, except for 2 instances, like I said. And quickly about the ending credits. For the ending credits, they show some of the deaths like throughout the series, but not much. Well, they show some of the deaths. Like, I was kind of confused by that, because I did hear about that. A lot of people have told me that during the end credits, they show you like a bunch of deaths from throughout the series. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, I guess. You know, a little montage, I guess. Sounds fun, I guess. The thing is, they don't show you all the deaths, which I'm kind of confused by. Like, off the top of my head, they missed the strangling one from the first one, the bus death. They missed Lewis's death from the third one, where the weights crush his head. Tim's death, where he gets crushed by the falling glass in the second film. There's just a bunch of deaths they missed, and I'm just left wondering why they missed out some of these deaths. I know I'm really picking at straws here to complain, but if you're going to do a montage of most deaths, why not do all of the deaths from the series? Instead, they just do like a few. So it's like, why these deaths? Why not all of them? I know, it's just a little something which kind of bugged me at the end there. Okay, so what else? I think I'm running out of steam here. Can't really think about it. Okay, how about the ending? I'm not going to say anything, but the ending was good. I'll give it that. I'm not going to spoil it. I guess it's a twist, I guess you could say. I guess. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, you can consider it a twist. But yeah, I did like the ending. That was good. I'm not talking about the tire part, the death. Damn it, okay. No, I didn't spoil anything. I'm not talking about the tire part of the ending. You know, the falling tire. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. I'm talking about before that. I thought that was a pretty good twist. Yeah, I'll give them that. That was a good ending. A good ending, yeah. But kind of opens up a few questions. I'm not sure if you would classify these as plot holes, but it's certainly something for you to question. It's just a flaw in the movie's design, in the movie's logic. Like, okay, how can I say this without spoiling the ending? Okay, actually, I'll leave that till the end of the review, because I can't really like ask this without spoiling the ending. Let's see. Okay, here's another death which I thought sucked because of this reason. Minor spoilers. I'm not gonna say who the character is that dies, or what scene it is, or what kills them. I'm gonna say how they die, but like not what object kills them or whatever. I'm gonna vaguely describe this. One death involves a character's head getting crushed. That's all I'm gonna say. But that death sucked purely because, like I said, the fun of these deaths is seeing the actual deaths, like seeing the characters die, you know? So it's like, for this death, like blood splatters onto the camera, which is kind of for the 3D gimmick, not that that 3D effect didn't really work too well for me, to be honest. but it's kind of like we don't see the head get crushed because the blood splatters onto the camera. So it's like blocking our vision, so we can't see the remains of the head, like the crushed remains of the head. So it's like, where's the fun in that if we can't see the head? So we get like CGI blood splatters onto the camera and we can't see, you know, like the aftermath of the head crush. So it's kind of like, where's the fun in the death if we can't see like the body, you know? So I just thought that death sucked because of that. And also it was really predictable. Again, it's one of those subtle things, they try to be really subtle about it. Like, you know, that thing in the background, they're not focusing on it. They're busy trying to trick you into thinking this is how the character's going to die. So like throughout the whole entire scene I was like, you know, no, that's a red herring. Like I could tell straight off the bat that's a red herring. I was kind of suspicious of what killed the guy. I didn't, like I wouldn't have put my full money on it, but I was kind of suspicious of the object that killed him. I kind of saw it coming, I guess. Like, so I thought it wasn't recording, but I did kind of see, you know, I kind of had a vague idea, like the object there I saw in the background, I was kind of like, yeah, you know, I was kind of suspicious of it, so I did kind of see that coming a bit. I was kind of paying attention to the object in the background there. Like, as he walks into the room, I saw it, and I was kind of like, you know, throughout the whole entire scene, I was just thinking about that. And let's talk about the humour in this film. I thought the humour was pretty bad, to be honest. Thank God they didn't do that really annoying cliche. This is probably my most hated movie cliche. It's like when the character's like, I'm alive, and then bam, they die. They've done this in like every single Final Destination film, I think, or at least all of them except for the second one. They didn't do it in the fifth one, thank God, because I really hate that cliche. Like Billy in the first film, he's like shouting at the other character like, you're dead, and then he gets killed like a second after, like he gets decapitated. Like, they always do that sort of stuff, and I hate it when films do that. Like Cabin Fever did it, and Predators did it. It really drives me insane when movies do that. It's like they're not being funny or ironic when they do that sort of stuff. It really pisses me off when movies do that. It really drives me up the wall. It's just a personal gripe, which for me, it just really bugs me. But I'm really glad they quit that. They finally quit it in the fifth one. It's like in the fourth one, the guy he's about to get hit by the van, but then it stops. Then he just goes, I guess it's not my turn to die. And then he gets like grated through the fence. It's just like, you're not being ironic or funny or smart by doing that. It's just, that really drives me insane. Like that really, like I get like frustrated watching a movie when that happens. Like that really drives me up the wall. I can't stress how badly I hate that cliche. But I'm glad they didn't do it in the fifth one. Let's see, the humour though, I thought it was pretty bad. Like, maybe it's just me, you know. Like, I don't really laugh much anyway, like, at jokes. I have more of a dark sense of humour, but like for Final Destination, like the humour wasn't really that dark anyway. Like they had a few really cheesy like moments, like life's a bitch, and then someone that gets killed as soon as somebody said that. I thought that was just like, I was just like sitting in the cinema like, oh god, that line was horrible. You know, that sort of stuff just doesn't work for me. It's really cheesy. But like the scene where the guy's getting the massage from the Chinese lady, it's like the jokes. It was just so predictable. Like. When she's like, you know, like twisting his neck and to give him like a massage, or like, you know, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Like, where that woman's like, you know, giving the guy the massage, and like she's a bit, well, let's say she isn't gentle with him. Like my whole entire feed, everyone in my cinema, in my room, was like laughing at that throughout the whole entire scene. I was kind of just sitting there. Well, not everyone was laughing. There was a few people around laughing. Not everyone was not everyone was laughing at that scene, so I'm not alone, thank God, on that. So maybe it's just not me, but I really hated that scene. Like there was a few people laughing in the cinema doing that when the guy's getting the massage, and I was just like, oh, I really hated that. I really hated that. The humour in that scene, I really did not like it, let's say. Okay, what other things can I talk about? I think I'm really running out of steam here. I don't really have much else to say. There was one death which caught me by surprise. The only death in the whole entire film that caught me by surprise was, the death. I'm not going to spoil it again, in case there's some people who haven't seen the film, of course. But it's like there's like spikes sticking out of the floor. That death, I didn't expect someone to die, but that was one death in the whole entire film which I did not see coming. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'm trying not to spoil this one. But the scene where there's like a spike, there's like spikes coming out the floor. I didn't expect the person to die, but I think they did good with that scene. I think that's the only scene in the whole entire series where they are focusing on the object which is going to kill the person, and then that is actually how the person dies. So there you go. They've done it once in the whole entire series, but it does not excuse them for trying to trick us every single time. And I'm just sitting there knowing they're trying to trick us. So I'm just trying to pay it. See, back to that, because I pay attention to the subtle things, the things which are like really subtle, like in the background or whatever. So I'm like, that's probably going to kill him, because the things which are they are showing in your face constantly, like the ceiling fan is like, it's just so in your face. It's like, look, a loose ceiling fan. It's gonna fall. It's like, you're not tricking us. You're not fooling anyone. We know that's not how they're gonna die. It really, really pisses me off. So that was really annoying. That sort of stuff in the death scenes where they're trying to trick us. Really, really annoying. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything I have to say about Final Destination 5. God knows how long I've rambled on for. I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, half an hour. I really don't know. Maybe it's not that long. Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't got a timer or a clock or anything, so I can't figure this out. But yeah, if you sat for the whole entire video, thanks for watching. I guess. I'll be surprised if anyone actually sits through all of this, for listening to me ramble on for like 30 minutes or 40 or however long I've talked for. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on Final Destination 5. So to sum this up, it was a bad movie to be yeah, and can I say one more thing? It's like, even though I was expecting it to be exactly the same as the other Final Destinations, but I wanted it to be a so bad it's a good thing. I actually wanted to enjoy it. I really despise the fourth film. I'll say that. I pretty much hate the series anyway. It's just something, I don't know, I just don't like the series. Sorry if I offended any Final Destination fans, but I just don't like the series. At least the first film, I think that was a great film. Second one, meh, it's okay. But I kind of wanted the fifth film, because I really went out of my way to see this film, because it took me a long time to try and find someone to watch this movie with. I eventually finally did, so I don't know. Maybe Final Destination is just the film series I love to hate. So, maybe I just love to hate Final Destination. Maybe it has a place in my heart. Maybe. But with this fifth film, it's like, I did want to enjoy it. I did try to enjoy it. I wanted to enjoy it. I just couldn't. I just didn't like it. And I'm really baffled by the people's, I know opinions will be opinions, but I'm really baffled by the fans saying this is the best Final Destination yet. I'm just like, what? I just don't understand. Opinions will be opinions, but that's one thing I really find trouble buying into. Some people are saying that. Maybe because the fourth movie was so horrible. Final Destination fans have set their standard so low. So they're like, when the fifth one comes on, they think it's something amazing. Because yeah, I will say the fifth one is slightly better than the fourth one. But that is not saying much. The fourth one is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. The fifth one is pretty close to being one of the worst. Oh, actually, maybe it is one of the worst movies I've seen in my life. I really hate Final Destination 4. I hate the fifth one as well. It's a tiny bit better than the fourth one. But the thing is, I did try to enjoy it. I swear to God, I tried to enjoy it. There's like a voice in the back of my head, saying, you really want to like this. I don't know. maybe I have a soft, even though I hate the series, maybe I have a soft spot for it. Because I always bitch about the series with my friends, like they haven't seen any of the films except okay, for those of you who noticed the jump cut, but then my dad just walked in. It's 12:30 right now. He just came back from seeing a band anyway. So I can't remember, what was I talking about? I don't know. I was finishing off the review anyway. So yeah, it was a movie which I wanted to enjoy, like so bad it's good kind of movie. I did try to like it, but honestly, honestly now, I'm not just saying this, you know. I genuinely found it pretty boring, to be honest. The thing is, like I said, the deaths weren't interesting enough. The special effects, you know, there's not much of a payoff because the special effects were so bad. So like I said, if your film revolves around the way people die, you gotta have good special effects, as well as create interesting deaths, you know, which this film does not have. Good effects in the bridge collapsing, not so good goal-wise. However, I did like the hot tar death in the premonition, and the gymnastics death. Everything else sucked, and everything was predictable, bad acting, you know, blah blah blah. But the ending was pretty good, I'll give it that. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about Final Destination 5, I think. Whether or not you should go see it, if you liked the first 4 films, or at least the first 3, because I know a lot of fans hated the 4th one, but if you like the first 3, or the first 4, you'll like this one. It's the same film, so as long as you don't mind seeing the exact same film. Oh wait, I just realised my TV wasn't muted. Okay, but so if you don't mind seeing the same film for the 5th time in a row, there you go, you'll enjoy it. It's the same stuff, same as the first 4 films, nothing different, nothing, you know, nothing new. You'll just enjoy it if you like the first 4. So that's pretty much I have to say about that. I might ramble on for an extra 10 minutes. Like, this is going to be about spoilers, so leave the video now. I'm going to talk about the ending and ruin it here. So thanks for watching, for those of you who did. So if you don't want spoilers, leave the video, okay? So by now I'm hoping you've quit the video. So about the spoilers, so about the ending, so it's a prequel. It takes place before the first film. It takes place in the year 2000. Okay, yeah, that was a good twist, but this also raises a few questions. Like Tony Todd explains to them about you know, the kill or be killed thing. It's the kill or be killed, you know, that the new rule, this new thing is like, so okay, so he explains this to this set of characters. So why didn't he tell the so if this is a prequel, obviously, so it's a prequel to the first film, so why doesn't he tell any of the groups from the other from the Final Destination 1 and 2, why doesn't he tell those groups that they can kill someone to get their remaining lifespan? Like, why doesn't he tell them, you know? So well, there you go, that's my question. Why didn't he tell him? Like, is there a reason for that? Like, personally, off the top of my head, at least I can't really think of any reason why he didn't tell him. So, is there a plot hole? Oh, I'm not quite sure if you would classify that as a plot hole, but it's certainly a question, or at least, you know, it's certainly a flaw. And also, just a few things about technology. I'm not an expert, I haven't researched this or anything, so I might be completely wrong, but sorry, the lasers, you know, the eye surgery scene, did eye surgery like exist in the year 2000? I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it doesn't, maybe it didn't, so I don't know. So that's just one thing, I'm just going to throw that out there, I don't know. So I think that's just those 2 points I wanted to raise. Oh yeah, and another thing, when that FBI, I think he's FBI, or he's just a cop, whatever, but when he got shot dead in the restaurant, can I just say, that was painfully predictable. Like, you could literally count the seconds, like 3, 2, 1, bang bang. Like, you could literally do a countdown to that. It was so predictable. that point, I was just sitting there, like, you know, I could just tell that was going to happen, and I'm pretty sure tons of other people could too. But that's my complaint. It was so predictable, that moment. They didn't do that scene very well. But okay, so I think now this is the end of the review. Nothing else to say. I doubt anybody actually watched this all the way through, but if you did, thanks for watching, I guess. God knows how long I've rambled on for. I'll find out sooner. And my next video, or at least set of videos, are going to be my Dead Island Let's Play. So there we go. Thanks for watching. If you did, bye.